Our guest today is Dr. Tracie Edwards, a thought leader who challenges the way we think about digital failure. And we've all heard the statistic that 70% of digital transformations fail. But Dr. Edwards argues they don't fail because of bad code. They fail because of people problems. Welcome, Dr. Tracie Edwards. You're a contributing author in The Evolving Analyst. And thank you very much for being here with myself and Emel.
Well, it's great to be here, and to be able to visit with you both is such a treat.
You're in the digital transformation section of this book. The name of your article is A Catalyst for Change Management. And let's ask you a few questions about your article and about change management. Great. Okay. When do you see analysis directly influencing adoption and not just delivery?
Yeah, well, I would say that adoption and delivery are really two sides of the same coin. That you have to have delivery, and with delivery, you have to have adoption. Adoption is even more prevalent today in a world of continuous improvement, continuous deployment. So if you're going to be delivering, you really need to be adopting. I have seen that in my own organization where I am right now, where it's a new way of working. We're delivering, but at the same time, we're trying to adopt those habits that go with that delivery and that new way of working. I've seen that in other organizations as well.
You sort of make this bold case to stop firing your veteran staff and to hire digital natives and start empowering your business analysts to lead the culture shift. So with that aside, I'll give the floor to Emel to ask you a couple of questions.
Great.
Yeah, I think my first question, I would say, probably is around that failure rate of software projects. So your findings have found that 70% of projects are failing.
Right.
And what would you say is the biggest contributing factor to that?
Yeah, so that 70% comes from a lot of research around digital transformation and whether digital transformation, whether it's achieved, kind of thing. And so the research, at least from Harvard Business Review, has shown that it's really more of a people problem than it is an execution problem. It's really on people to execute, which means that you need to really train your people for what that execution is going to look like, what the expectations of it are going to be, and really the narrative of what it is that you're trying to accomplish and why, how it's going to impact them and why, and how you can bring them along with it.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned that element of digital transformation oftentimes happens far too late in the game for these transformations. I guess that this is something that I've been hearing ever since, year 2001, when I started studying this stuff very, very early on. And that number has not changed very much ever since that time, right? And so are there any things that can be done differently now that we're in a bit of a new world? Because, with AI transformation is changing a lot of things. What do we have now that's with us that can actually change things? 25, 30 years since ever since we've been having this failure rate on these types of projects.
Yeah, so I would submit that, and having experienced this myself, working for an organization that started a transformation in about 2017, and periodically, because they were a publicly traded company, periodically they would just lay people off, which meant that you lost business knowledge, you lost relationships, you put remaining employees in a position where they had to do more with less, and you potentially end up with a very sort of toxic culture because of all of that. And so the research academically and the research that I have looked at shows that if you are willing to train your employees in the ways of transformation, if you're able to get them to buy in to why you're changing, what the change is going to mean for them, then your transformation is more likely to be successful. They will be more willing to participate in it. They will be more willing to believe in it and buy into it when they feel like they've got skin in the game for supporting it.
Yeah. So earlier, more investment earlier in the game into change management instead of the technology side of things.
Right, right. It's really all about those people skills. It's about being able to manage up and manage out.
I know that, Tracie, you say that the BA is no longer note taker, but the sort of critical emotional bridge between the boardroom strategy and the employees on the ground. So in your words, how can BAs earn trust as change leaders rather than just messengers?
Right. I think they need to understand first that they are in a position to lead. That means being able to manage up, and it means being able to manage out to your peers, kind of thing. So that means being able to ask the hard questions. It means wanting to be involved. It means when you're coming to the person who's change resistant, that you can help them to embrace the change. You do that with your emotional intelligence. You do that with your conflict management skills. You do that with your ability to execute.
So essentially you're offering sort of this clear reminder that the effective BA is as much about it's about a mindset and judgment as it is about techniques and tools.
Totally. And I think, especially as junior BAs, we can get sort of caught up in the techniques and the tools, but really to be a leader, to be that senior BA, to be that consultant level BA that we all are kind of trying to be, then it's going to take more of that leadership and embracing of the change message.
I'll frame it in terms of the business analysts that I've met throughout my consulting work as a BA. Most business analysts I've met are not very comfortable with, and they don't have a whole lot of confidence in dealing with conflict. Naturally speaking, conflict is just a natural part of leadership, and learning to manage conflict is a part of leadership. And so when I look at the pool of business analysts that I've run into in my own BA career, I can think of very few that I think are really would have the comfort level to step into a role that requires them to do the hard change management stuff. They're very comfortable in the technology space. They know, software won't hurt you, but people's words might. And a lot of folks like to stay in the software world. What would you say to those types of business analysts who really don't have necessarily the, let's say they don't have like a confrontational approach, and they prefer not to be in that world, but the world is now demanding that of them?
Yeah. So I would say you don't need to have a confrontational approach, first of all. You have to have an empathetic approach and an outward mindset. So say you're running into that person who's got some change resistance. Why do they have change resistance? Can you understand why they might have change resistance? Lead with empathy, lead with the impact to them, and then that will help you to be able to have conflict management without having conflict. If that makes sense.
The strategy is to reduce the conflict instead of trying to manage it, I guess, is what you're recommending here. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there are obviously going to be times where that doesn't really work. We're all human, and that is going to happen. But I think we're much more likely to be successful if we understand what's going on from the other person's perspective, the other team's perspective. what's going on from your leader's perspective? What are the challenges that they're being faced with? And the more you can do that, the more you're going to be valued as a BA, and the more you're going to find success as a BA.
I think it's all about trying to engage with complexity, right? It's about listening, interpretation, informed decision making. And you add to that some degree of clarity, of responsibility, professional judgment. Not everybody has those skills, but I think it's a good BA would learn how to grow those skills over time.
Right, right. And I would just add personally that I feel like my learning to become more emotionally intelligent, emotionally aware, has helped me to grow in my BA career, where I may have struggled more as a junior with some of those things that we've talked about with conflict and that. But, you know, with seniority comes a little bit of wisdom and willingness to sort of embrace that more.
Great article. Thank you for your contribution. Looking forward
Thank you.
for the opportunity to interview again in a different show, if possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great to see you both.
Yeah, great to see you, Trace. Thanks, Emil, for being on the show.
For sure.
You bet.
Okay.